Alright, this game basically ended as soon as it started, because the Thunder came out with a lot of energy out the gates, so they broke it open by the end of the first, and the second was just to ensure the win. Their defensive game plan against Ant was the same, because they were still having Zay show or blitz him off his screens, still loading up on his ones, or still collapsing the paint whenever he got downhill, and even Drew got some of the same treatment, so once again, Ant was just being forced off the rock a lot. But at least he made a smart adjustment to not get completely taken out the game, and it was as simple as him hunting either Shet or Shai, because Shet's levels weren't changed, and Shai was always going to hedge, so he kept exploiting whatever the two tried whenever he brought one of them into the action. He even stopped calling for screens and just went at his primary matchup sometimes, so he wasn't only looking for mismatches, and that aggressive mindset did lead to him forcing some tough shots, but more times than not, he still made the right pass. The only difference in this game compared to the games in Minnesota was just the others missing the same looks, because whenever he saw two or drew multiple bodies on his paint touches, there was just no production to show for it, and a lot of the bricks were coming from Jaden. As expected, the Thunder continued to concede open looks from the corner, so he got a lot of those shots, but what made it worse was even Nikhil couldn't stop missing, and his were just at the rim. It was really just a matter of make or miss, because the two have made tougher shots in previous games, and both of their performances were the perfect example of that contrast and level of play at the crib versus on the road. But it wasn't just about the bricks, because the turnovers were arguably even worse, and as seen throughout this series, the Thunder's physicality and hands were causing a turnover fiesta in those passing or driving lanes. A lot of them came from Drew and Nas, because whenever those two tried to get downhill, in the post, or catch an entry, it was either butterfingers or bad passes, especially whenever Caruso was around, and he just did what he's been doing all series. He set the tone on that end of the floor, because his defensive effort is how he gets himself and the crowd going, so while those constant bricks and turnovers just fed right into the Thunder's pace for runouts, quick buckets, or whistles. If anything, they didn't even need a shot clock, because they were scoring within the first 10 seconds, and that played right into Shai's hands. He's always looking for that early two-man game, always looking for a quick mismatch, or always attacking the opponent's defense not being set, and even Dub was doing the same, so they both kept making the right read to score or spray. The Wolves had no chance to stop the momentum avalanche, because the more they missed or turned the rock over, the more the Thunder capitalized for quick makes or whistles, so they had to keep taking the rock out the net, then go against the Thunder's defense being set, and that constant cycle probably contributed to their energy dipping throughout the first half. But at least they found something that somewhat worked for the second half, because once they zoned up in a 3-2 or 2-3, the Thunder's offense started getting a little stagnant, and after they reset at halftime, they just ran with it, so those stops started generating more pace for them to get into a rhythm. They went on to basically exchange buckets with the Thunder until garbage time, so if they had made that adjustment earlier and not when they were down 33, it probably could have helped them extend the series, because the Thunder still struggled to find any open pockets to exploit. This is by far their most obvious weakness, and I can understand why the Wolves weren't running it more, because they do have the personnel to play man, so they probably wanted to match up player for player, but considering how bad the Thunder are at exploiting it, they should have tried it more, especially after the Nugs forced the Thunder to 7 exclusively in a 2-3. For some reason, the Thunder usually try to screen for Shai up top to open a lane instead of having the others flash middle, so that can cause the rock to stick in his hands for too long, but they did do better than usual, because he was able to get to his spots, and more importantly, the others made their shots, especially Lou. Now I just don't know if those same shots fall without the luxury of a 33-point cushion, because there's more pressure on those when it's an even game or when they're trailing, and whoever makes it out the East should consider a lot of zone in the finals for their best chance of winning. Just watch the tape.
They are ready to party here in Oklahoma City.